What up, everyone? It's Alan, and I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce a new series of quality improvement videos. Now, for those of you who may be new to quality improvement, it is definitely one of those skills that is learned in field. Like, you could read about QI, you could listen to lectures about QI, but there is absolutely no substitute for actually doing a quality improvement project. And to this point, there really has not been a way that you could learn QI without actually doing a project. Well, I hope to change that to a degree. So what I'm going to be offering in these next few videos is a walkthrough of a quality improvement project from start to finish. So as you guys know, if you watched my last video, I'm doing a project as part of the EQUIP program through University of Toronto. I'm going to be doing it at my home institution. So I've chosen a project, and what I hope to do is post my progress report here on this channel weekly so that you, along with me, can follow at home and see what I've done, see the tools that I've used to tackle a certain problem or issue, and you can see what happens at each stage of a quality improvement project. Because each stage requires different insights, different tools, different questions that you ask yourself, and skills of different team members. So that will be what's happening over these next few weeks. And hopefully by the end of the several week journey, you will have a good appreciation for what you need to do in order to do a quality improvement project well and get one off the ground. So with that, let's go to the first video. So the quality improvement project that I've chosen is a exploration of the use of intravenous iron in our IV therapy clinic. And so this IV therapy clinic, which exists at both of the major sites in London Health Sciences Centre, was created really to offload a lot of the intravenous infusions, blood transfusions, iron infusions that were happening in the emergency room. At least that is my understanding of the reason why it was created. I could actually be incorrect. But what I noticed is that it's getting more and more difficult to get patients in for an infusion of iron, let's say, for example, in a timely manner, and definitely a blood transfusion. The wait times have gone up from a few days to sometimes it can take a week or more. And if someone needs a transfusion badly, sometimes there's no other choice other than to send them to the emergency room, which is, of course, undesirable. A colleague of mine one day, another hematologist, he kind of just made a passing comment about how often that we're using intravenous iron sucrose instead of iron dextran, which in many ways is a much more preferable formulation to use. So just a very brief introduction about intravenous iron. You have this product, iron sucrose, which is kind of the main product that we're using right now. And the way it's usually given is if you need enough of it, it's given as an iron infusion, 300 milligrams once a week for up to 3 doses. Could be that the patient might just need one, but for the most part, it's usually ordered as a weekly dose for more than one dose. Iron dextran, on the other hand, has the advantage of being able to give all of that all at once. And I did notice that for the most part, we are ordering iron sucrose instead of iron dextran. And there are a lot of historic reasons for that, which I may get into in another video. I'll actually share with you on a series of slides. It's much better to explore this pictorially than have me try and talk about it.
Okay, so in the 1 week that we observed the IV therapy clinic, 84 patients were seen. This is typical for a week in the IV therapy clinic. Of those 84 people, 50 were receiving iron infusions. Again, typical. Of those 50 patients, 40 received more than one iron infusion when we looked back 1 month as well as forward 1 month. So the 2-month period surrounding the IV clinic visit. So these patients would all be potential candidates to get IV iron dextran as opposed to iron sucrose. Of those 40, only 6, that's 15%, got iron dextran. The remaining 34, or 85% of patients, received iron sucrose in multiple doses. Of those, for those 34 people, they accounted for 72 extra doses of intravenous iron, most of which were likely avoidable. And that 72 units of iron translates to 288 hours of chair time required to infuse those. Now, I've not done the back of the napkin calculation to find out how much that costs, both in terms of the extra iron used as well as the nursing time and chair time used. But it's probably a lot of money. And not only that, more importantly, this contributes to the inability or the difficulty of getting patients into the IV therapy clinic in a timely manner. All of which can be potentially attenuated by switching from iron sucrose to iron dextran.
So there you go. You can see that even in 1 week of looking at a very small sample of IV therapy clinic patients, you can see that we have a lot of room for improvement. And this is actually quite typical of a quality improvement project. For whatever reason, no one has really taken notice of this practice, and it's resulted in the wastage of, almost 3 full clinic days in an average week. Now, of course, that's a bit of an overestimate, because if we were to not double count, it may be closer to 1 clinic day, but still, that's 1 whole clinic day wasted in an average week. So that is the baseline data collection, and again, one of the big lessons to learn is that it didn't take me long at all. It took me maybe 4 hours in total to collect and extract all this data, and based on this, we have a very clear way forward in terms of a target. Now, next steps, so things that I'm going to be looking at accomplishing next week, is I think my next step is to engage the stakeholders. So I'm going to use a tool called a Stakeholder Map, and I will figure out, who should I be engaging on the change team in order to make some changes happen and make them stick. So the kinds of people I can just off the bat think of that are going to want to know and have interest in the success or failure of this project are going to be people like the IV therapy nurses who are actually administering the infusions themselves, physicians who are care providers who are going to be experiencing shorter wait times if we're able to reduce the amount of wastage that happens. The emergency room, who can be looked at as a macro provider, and also the administrative staff who run the IV therapy clinic. So I'll be engaging these people and finding out if they're aware of the extent to which this problem exists, and basically see if there's a reason for it. There may be a very good reason, or if it's simply something that has not been addressed because no one's really taken a look at it. The other next step that I will engage in at this point is hypothesis generation. So we're going to look at this ordering behavior and see, why is it that clinicians are ordering IV sucrose instead of IV iron dextran. So again, I have my suspicions, and I won't share them yet at this particular point in time. I will probably share that with you next week. But I think I'm going to interview a few clinicians who are frequent orders to find out their thought processes about ordering sucrose over dextran. And I'm going to be constructing something called a fishbone or Ishikawa diagram in order to more deliberately target the factors that are going into our poor performance. All right, I think I'll wrap it up there. So just remember, if you're a student of mine, perhaps doing the QI curriculum, then your first step is to collect a small sample of baseline data. You don't need a lot of time or effort to do this. I did this in 4 hours, and you can figure out whether or not you actually have a problem that needs solving. You may even get a few insights into what are the reasons behind this problem. But that is step one, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again next week for video number 2. Peace.